Hello and welcome to another episode of Casual Games. This is the follow-up episode to the Godzilla hype up because yesterday I went and saw the Godzilla movie, and I have to say it was awesome. I'm gonna be delving more into details with about the Godzilla movie. But of course, that's more spoilerish, and so I'm gonna say that for a little later on. Sure. Yeah. So it was an awesome movie. It was amazing. Godzilla looked awesome. The special effects were awesome. And granted, it was a bit cliche. It was cheesy at some points, and it was pretty clichéic at some points as well. But, going into it, it's a Godzilla movie, and that's kind of what you expect. So, because the older Godzilla movies, they're really cheesy, they're really clichéic, but they're iconic. And I think that's what, the producer, I don't know who exactly produced it, and that's my fault for not knowing, but I think he did a very good job. Whether he made it clichéic and cheesy on purpose, I have no idea, but just it was a great addition to the Godzilla series. Yeah, it was. Wow, way Baragon. Alright, we can both dig. Yeah, so it was definitely a great addition to the Godzilla series. So out of 10, it really depends what we're rating it on. If we're rating it on like a Hollywood movie, then sure it's gonna be, it was cheesy. I'll give it that. It was cheesy, it was cliche, it wasn't like the best plot. But that's not what Godzilla movies are about, I don't think. So, as a Godzilla, as a movie in the Godzilla series, I think it was really good, if not the best. Aside from the few problems I had. Oh, nice, I hit all three of them. What was I saying? Yeah, so it was okay as a Hollywood movie. It was amazing as a Godzilla movie. So now, in this section, I'm going to be talking about more spoilerish topics. So continue watching at your own risk. What am I doing? Stop it. Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah, so now this is the spoiler section. So I'll probably add like a spoiler text right here just to let you guys know that it's the spoiler section. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm not good at multitasking. But yeah, okay, so, let's see here. I really liked the monsters. I think Godzilla looked really cool. The movie did a very good job at keeping him iconic, yet they kind of made him fresh and new, which I really appreciated. Nice. So I really appreciated that. He does in fact have his atomic breath ray in the movie. It's not seen until the very end, but he still has it, and it looks super awesome. There's this one part where he grabs the monster and he shoots it down its throat and it explodes. It's really cool. It's not like how the iconic beam is, where it's just like kind of a straight beam. It definitely looks more like fire in this one. What am I gonna do? Sure. It definitely looks more like fire, which I'm okay with. It was different, but what can you do? And he definitely looked really cool. The Mutos, which were the enemy monsters, they were also really cool. They were awesome. They didn't really have any like cool superpowers, but again, not all Godzilla monsters do. Although they were able to like send out like EMP waves. But they were really cool. They weren't humanoid like they weren't humanoid like most Godzilla monsters are. But granted, we're not limited by guys in suits now anymore. This is more CG. So we are, their limits are a lot larger. And so, I'm not going to consider that as a problem, because it's not, There's some monsters that aren't humanoid, Rodan, Manga, whatever. Oh, nice, 2 with 1. So, the Mutos were really cool. Their roars sounded really cool, and they were just really cool. One problem I did have was that there wasn't actually a lot of fighting in the movies. Like Godzilla and the Mutos meet each other like 3 times over the course of the movie, but you never actually see the fight until the climax. And even then, they don't really focus on it that much. They focus more on, the human plot, which I wish we could have seen more of Godzilla fighting, because, that's kind of what all Godzilla fans really want, is to see, the monsters and watch them fight. So I wish we could have done that. But, can't get everything in life. So yeah, the fighting was, even though there wasn't a lot of fighting, the fighting itself was really cool. It was definitely very cool. It was awesome to look at. The CG was amazing. Watching, now that it's CG and not just men in suits, the fighting in the city was so epic. And when Godzilla finally uses his atomic breath for the first time, and you see it, because they don't actually even hint at it at all during the course of the movie. When it's introduced, you just kind of see him in the kind of the dust of all the buildings that are breaking, and then you see his tail light up, and then he just stands there, and then wha-bam! Giant breath, and it's super awesome. So I think that, the movie did kind of nod to the fans, because they made the parts, like the part where you first see Godzilla in his full form is epic, and the first time you see his atomic breath, it's super awesome. So they really, kept the fans in mind when they were doing that, which I really appreciate. Some of the problems I did have, one of them was that the fighting, there wasn't enough, and I already talked about this. They didn't actually hint with the fighting. You didn't actually fight until the final climax. And they hinted at they teased at fights. They hinted at fights beforehand, but you never actually see it until the final, which I didn't really like. Because there's like the first time you actually see Godzilla in his full form, he appears, he roars, it's super awesome, and then you expect a big fight between him and the monster, but it just cuts to some kid watching TV, and you just see the fight through the TV's perspective, which I didn't. I wished we could have actually seen the fight, but yeah. What else? Oh, another thing I didn't like was how Bryan Cranston was hyped up about being in the movie so much. Like, in the trailers, that's pretty much the only dude you saw. And then in the actual movie, he dies like 30 minutes in. He's not even in it for the movie. That was probably what bugged me the most. Because, I mean, come on, it's Bryan Cranston. And it was pretty obvious that they only used him for the trailers so that, you know, people would go see it. That's what it felt like, because he was still an important character. Like, he built up the plot, but he died, and it was sad, because I wanted to see him act. But, you know, what, I guess, you know, it was good. It was definitely good. It was awesome. The only two problems I really had was that Bryan Cranston died too early. I wouldn't mind if he died, but he died too early. And secondly, there wasn't enough fighting. So, you know, there's some areas of improvement, but it's definitely an excellent start. So, you know, if they do plan on making more Godzilla movies, I would love them. And I think that they can definitely do. They can go really nowhere but up. Unless, you really, with Godzilla movies, you really can't go anywhere but up. Because no one really cares about the human plot, at least from my point of view. No one really cares about the human plot. It's all about the monsters, what they look like, how they fight. That's really what's interesting about the Godzilla movies. So, and I feel like you can't really go anywhere but up with those circumstances. You can only make the monsters more cool than the last. You can only make the fighting scenes more epic than the last. You know, so... And, so, you know, I definitely hope that they continue making it and that, you know, it will be better, but, you know, this is already a very good head start. So, you know, that was it. Oh, it was awesome. It was amazing. But, that's probably it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll be... Oh, God. I'm dying. I'll be posting more making a game episodes, as well as some other casual game episodes throughout the coming months. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all